Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you and welcome once again, my friends, to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur CEO of Twitter. And welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day, such as my own. All we do is entertain, inspire, and inform. And my friends, I want to engage with you. I want you to be part of the conversation, so you can find me currently on the Twitter, on the Instagram, on the Facebook, and now on the Counter Social at Colt S. Taylor, as well as on twitch.tv at Colt S. Taylor, and Cameo also at Colt S. Taylor. And of course, catch up on all things this redhead does at ColtSebastianTaylor.com. And finally, if you have missed this show because you have a busy fall schedule, that's okay. I forgive you. You can catch the podcast version of the show at anchor.fm/ColtSTaylor, usually published Sunday around noon. All right, my friends, let's get started with this week's Saturday Report. First up this week, it's time once again for one of my favorite segments, and I don't know why, I just find it fascinating. It's time for a Kanye West update for all of my fans out there, mostly my grandmother who wants to know what's going on with Kanye West. So, for those who may have been busy watching, the baseball playoffs or political debates with the upcoming election, Kanye West, he's Kanye West. Well, recently, just to back up a bit, on October 16th, on an episode of Drink Champs, which is a hip-hop community podcast hosted by DJ FN and Noor, Kanye West said, "I can say anti-Semitic things, and Adidas can't drop me. Now what? Now what?" Saying that he is Adidas. For those who may not remember, Kanye West was locked out of Instagram on Twitter, saying that he would go DEFCON 3, not DEFCON, DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. And then you talked about Jewish media, Zionist, all the classics of anti-Semitism there. Well, Adidas did not immediately drop him after those comments, but they did review his status, and they decided to cut ties and end his brand immediately. Fun fact, Adidas is a German company, so, anti-Semitism, they're a little sensitive to that. So Kanye West is no longer a billionaire, because he is no longer associated with Adidas. That was the big reason why he was a billionaire, was that association, but he is a billionaire no more. Shortly after that, apparently, this week, Kanye West went to Los Angeles and showed up at Skechers with a filming crew. Yes, that's right. Skechers is another shoe company. Kanye West showed up with a camera crew, unannounced and uninvited, spoke briefly with two executives at Skechers, and with an escort from the building. Skechers says, "We have no intention to," according to the statement, Skechers said, considering he was engaged in unauthorized filming, two Skechers executives escorted him and his party from the building after a brief conversation. "We condemn his recent divisive remarks and do not tolerate anti-Semitism or any other form of hate. The company would like again to stress the West showed up unannounced and uninvited to Skechers' corporate offices." So he said, Skechers basically saying, "Hey, we did not invite him here, and we do not work with Kanye West," also known as Ye. Just as a reminder, this kind of all started way back earlier this month, as you might remember from my previous episode, where he was at a fashion show in France with Candace Owens and wore a White Lives Matter hoodie and whatnot, and caused a lot of hoopla about that, and he had his comments about Jewish media, and they got suspended, and this, and now that. Other funny story that I found out about Kanye West this week, also known as Ye, officially changed his name to Ye, the Ye sir. He has a charter school, called the Donda Academy, which for $15,000, you can send your child to the school, a religious school run by Kanye West, so that which included enrichment classes like parkour. Yes, parkour. And they have to sign non-disclosure agreements as well. So if you're not happy with the school, you're not allowed to say anything about it because you've signed an NDA. Well, this week, a little bit of a shock for the parents of the Donda Academy. Earlier this week, let's see here. Earlier this week, they got a notice on, I believe, Wednesday night that said, urgent, please read. Dear Donda Academy families, we hope this email finds you well. First, we'd like to express our gratitude for the community of families and scholars that the Donda Academy brought together. However, at the discretion of our founder, Kanye West, Donda Academy will close for the remainder of the 22-23 school year, effective immediately. Thursday, October 27th, there is no school tomorrow. Our leadership will be working diligently to assist families during this transition, ensuring that every scholar has what they need to succeed in their next community in a prompt and gracious manner. We intend to begin afresh in September 2023, and we are confident that our scholars will continue to advance as creative innovators, courageous influence, and academic leaders of the next generation. So, and I've seen pictures of this academy. It's all kids wearing fashion wear from Kanye West round the table, and it looks like it's being held in the basement of a warehouse. Maybe that's not the best PR photos that they could use for a prestigious academy. Not sure where that $15,000 per kid is going. It sure isn't going into posters on the wall or any sort of chairs. I don't even see any chairs there either. However, around midnight on Wednesday, another email went out that says, Dear parents and staff, join us tomorrow morning in worship for the return of Donda Academy. With the help of our parents' community, we are back and returning with a vengeance. Because if there's one thing that I know I would want children to know, besides parkour, it's vengeance. The children of Donda are going to change the world. Apologies for the late email. See you bright and early. And then the whoever it's signed by is pushed away. So, for all my Donda Academy listeners out there, not sure if you had school this week. Who knows? But Kanye is back on Instagram, saying to Adidas, as Adidas, you can start to make new designs for footwear, apparel, and accessories immediately. As the Gap, the non-compete expires December 2015, 2022. This was the message to Kanye West. So he can do that immediately. The non-compete with Gap expires, in a month and a half. You own the Yeezy name and all the trademarks associated with Yeezy. So, he says he has lost $2 billion. He does own 5% of ex-wife's Kardashian's shapewear stuff. But, he's having a rough go at it. Apparently, listen, there is certainly freedom of speech. There's not freedom from consequences. And that's about $1 billion consequence for surrounding yourself with people who don't care about your mental health and are taking advantage. I mean, listen, I think we can all agree someone is clearly taking advantage of Kanye West. He is being taken advantage of. I'm sure Candace Owens is a little upset because now I don't think Kanye West is going to have the money to buy Parler. But, we'll see what happens. I sincerely hope he gets the mental health help he needs. And that he throws out these grifters that are just using him for all of his money. Once he is out of money, he's going to find out, boy, Holly, not a whole lot of folks out there really were there for him. They were just there for his money. I mean, it's a fantastic problem to have. I wish I had so much money that my friends were only my friends because of money. But, until then, I'm just, Colt Sebastian Taylor here on the radio. But, boy howdy, I will continue to follow the saga of Kanye West. Speaking of social media, well, folks, it looks like he's done it. Elon Musk, part-time Bond villain, full-time Tesla owner, and SpaceX owner, looks like he has finally closed the deal on Twitter. I honestly did not think he would do it. I thought he would back out and whatnot, but it turns out Elon Musk now owns Twitter, and boy howdy, there are a lot of people who are happy about it, and a lot of people who are not happy about it. The folks that are happy about it, everyone terrible that has been kicked off of Twitter over the last 5 years, are now thinking they're going to get their accounts back after most of them saying they would never come back to Twitter again and have moved on to things like, Truth Social, Gab, Parler, although I think there's only like 10 people on Parler now. But they all want their accounts back. That Trump wants his accounts back, apparently, but not really, but he kind of does. Hard to say what day of the week he thinks whether he wants it back or not. It would be a little bit self-defeating for his Truth Social company for him to come back to Twitter, but I think we all know he would come back to Twitter in a heartbeat, and then everyone who invested all that money in Truth Social, well, he probably doesn't really care about them. Anyways, yes, Elon Musk looks like he is about to own Twitter. He plans to cut over 75% of the workforce, which, boy howdy, that's going to be a hard time, managing the free-for-all on there. You kind of need folks to monitor the content there. And once again, folks, just so you understand how things work, if Twitter bans you from the service, that's not hurting your freedom of speech. The freedom of speech of the First Amendment is a constitutional thing about the government preventing you from using something. So if the government would come in, nationalize Twitter, then the government could not ban you from using said Twitter. That's how that works, okay? That's why they can't shut down newspapers. They can't ban people off of TV because that's the government saying you can't talk. That's freedom of speech. Twitter's a business. They have terms of service. If you can't follow the rules of the sandbox, you go to a different sandbox. That's the way that works. But anyways, lots of people are saying they're going to flee Twitter now because Elon Musk now owns it. And, this is now his property. He's paid $44 billion. Well, not him per se, but a lot of other banks and perhaps some overseas investors have paid. He has to make a buck. I mean, he has to have it make a profit. So he released a statement saying that he says Twitter cannot become a free-for-all hellscape in a letter to advertisers. So, yeah. So he still needs to make money. So, problem is, if he's going to let everyone back in, a lot of advertisers are not going to advertise on a social media platform that has as many crazies as possible on there. A lot of advertisers are a little concerned about this and may, scale back their advertising plans on Twitter, which means less money for Twitter, which means a really tough to make that bottom line to make a profit. So he said in a message to dear Twitter advertisers, Twitter obviously cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences. Uh-oh. That's not good for a whole lot of people who got their accounts banned. He said that the reason I acquired Twitter is because it is important to the future of civilization to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner without resorting to violence. There is currently great danger that social media will splinter into far right-wing and far left-wing echo chambers that generate more hate and divide our society. Then he added, he did not buy Twitter to make money. I did it to try to help humanity, whom I love. So, we shall see. We shall see how well this goes. Do I plan to flee Twitter? No. There's just too much interesting going on there. I just can't possibly turn away from that. But a lot of people are going to other social media sites. If you would like to know where Colt Sebastian Taylor, would suggest trying out, I mean, I have been a fan of, followed and have recently sort of refreshed my profile on a site called Counter Social. Not a whole lot of bots on there. They're very anti-bot, and you will not see folks just sort of mouthing off on there. It's a very nice community. I would suggest checking out. You can find me on there at Colt S. Taylor as well. I'll probably add that to my list of links soon. But anyways, we shall see how well this works. On Thursday, Elon Musk came in with a sink. He carried in a sink, and he tweeted it saying, "Entering Twitter HQ. Let that sink in." Okay. All right, buddy. And he's been having a lot of meetings with Twitter employees. Obviously, they all want to keep their jobs, so they're all pretty friendly. Will he cut thousands of jobs? Maybe, maybe not. I just don't know. What's going to happen. This is obviously some sort of, I would say, scam, but he's going to pull a fast one on someone. I just don't know who. Don't know who. But anyways, if you suddenly find an edit button on Twitter and every possible flat earther telling you that every pizza place is sacrificing children, you know that Elon Musk does now officially own Twitter. My friends, Elon Musk might be firing a lot of people. That means he could be hiring, and the first person he should hire is my pal DC. That's right, for some in-house music at Twitter HQ. But until then, my friends, you can listen to DC right here on AWSM Radio. He has 3 shows, 3 nights of the week. On Fridays at 10 p.m., it's DC Live in Effect. You do not want to miss out while he smashes it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from South Florida every week. And then on Saturdays, it's DC House Party Saturdays. DC brings his freestyling DJ to the max. House Party Saturdays gives you the Miami vibe without actually having to be there. From the top clubs to the bars, DC will bring the party to you Saturdays at 10, and then back it up, Sundays at 10 p.m., it's DC Live in Effect again. So, just to review, until he is hired by Elon Musk, you can hear DC Live in Effect Fridays at 9, DC House Party Saturdays at 10, and then DC Live in Effect Sundays at 10 p.m., right here, my friends, on AWSM Radio. Moving along to other news, this week, Ron Smith, age 66, died this week. He was a member of ABATE, which was short for A Brotherhood Against Totalitarian Enactments and American Bikers Aim Towards Education. Basically, he was very much against Florida's helmet law for motorcycle riders. In the late 1990s, Florida bikers were still required to wear helmets, and Ron Smith, who was also a lawyer, aggressively advocated against overturning the law. One of these cases went all the way to the 2nd District Court of Appeal, which ruled that Florida's helmet law at the time was constitutional, but the Department of Highway and Safety of Motor Vehicles had failed to properly publish a list of protective equipment as required by law. But no, he didn't like being told what to do, and so he continued to fight against the helmet laws in Florida. According to one of his friends, Dave Newman, he thought everybody should have their own choice. So, in 2000, the Florida legislature passed a law saying motorcyclists over 21 could go without head protection as long as they had $10,000 in insurance coverage for motorcycle accident injuries. He passed away this week at the age of 66, along with his girlfriend, 62-year-old Brenda Janine Vlope. They both died in a motorcycle accident. Yes. I don't know if the word irony is there, but yep, he died in a motorcycle accident, mostly due to head trauma. According to the crash, he was on his way to a funeral to a fellow biker who had passed away from cancer. He was an experienced rider. However, he lost control of his bike as he tried to slow down for an intersection, and the motorcycle started spinning clockwise and collided with a trailer attached to a pickup truck in another lane. According to a statement, it's entirely possible that if they were wearing a helmet, they might have survived. But again, we can't say for sure. It certainly would have improved their odds, said Eric Toe, who researched motorcycle safety at the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. According to studies by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, helmets decrease the risk of death for motorcyclists by 37%, and they are estimated to be about 41% effective for motorcycle passengers, meaning for every 100 people who have died on motorcycles without wearing a helmet, 41 could have been prevented if they were wearing a helmet. In states without helmet laws, 57% of motorcyclists who died in 2020 were not wearing a helmet, compared to 11% in states that had helmet laws. 15 states and the District of Columbia have laws requiring helmets for all riders on all motorcycle-type vehicles. When Florida repealed its law, the death rate increased by 25%, according to one study, and the number of motorcyclists admitted to the hospital with head injuries jumped 82% in the first 30 months following the law change. According to Toe, from the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety, things are moving the wrong direction. Preliminary reports say there's a 9% increase in motorcycle deaths from 2020 to 2021. Motorcyclists face a greater risk on the road than occupants in closed vehicles, so it's just really important to protect themselves. So, yep. Hey, listen, very few people can say they died for their beliefs, and this guy certainly did. People remembered him for being very big sense of humor, big smile, very funny, always ready to argue rights. But he got his wish, and unfortunately, he passed away this week in an unfortunate accident. So Ron Smith, the scourge of helmet laws in Florida, passed away this week after a motorcycle crash. He was not wearing a helmet. We now go to the Yukon in Canada, where decades and decades and decades ago, in fact in 1937, American explorer Brad Washburn, along with his friend Bob Bates, was trying to climb Mount Lucania in the St. Elias Mountains in northwest Canada. Well, the weather went real bad, things went real south, and they had to abandon a heavy load of equipment, including cameras, up on the mountain, and they made it back to civilization, and they wrote a book called Escape from Lucania. It was a book written by David Roberts. 2 sentences in that book apparently stuck in the mind of professional skier Griffin Post, who said, according to Roberts, Washburn was heartbroken to leave his cameras behind and always wanted to go back to get them. Well, he started to go out to look for them 15 years after he passed away and 85 years after the equipment was abandoned. And wouldn't you know it, he found the cameras. That's right, my friends. He found the cameras that had been abandoned 85, count them, 85 years ago. It was quite the amazing find. Researchers are very interested in this camera because it has pictures from 1937, and they can see just how much the landscape has changed over the last century. Most of the last century. The group went out in late spring 2022 when the snow would be safe to ski on, but they couldn't find anything. So they had a lot of information of where they were, but they weren't sure where the camera was. They were on a glacier, okay? Glaciers, unlike mountains, they move and they melt. So they weren't quite sure where it was. They have pretty good data of where the glacier has moved to, but it's not that great. So they made some calculations. They realized it moved to and fro, but they also realized their calculations were off slightly because the glacier had shrunk and melted a bit. So they're looking at some images of photos that survived, and nothing was lining up until they realized that they were looking from a position that was 200 feet higher. Yeah. So they're trying to match these photos up with their surroundings. They couldn't find the surroundings because back in 1937 there was 200 feet of ice there, and so nothing would match up. So once they figured that out, they were able to get a better idea, and wouldn't you know it, they were able to find the camera. That's right. So they're taking the scientists and photo specialists to sort of carefully open up this camera and recover the film images that are in there, but pretty amazing use of math and photos and history to get them where they're able to find the camera. So, like, amazing stuff. I don't think the pictures are out yet because they found them only a few months ago. But once they are, I definitely would want to see what are those pictures. Could it be Bigfoot? It's probably just a bunch of mountains. Next up, folks, we go to election security. No, once again, my friends, 2020 was a fine election. Your crazy aunt telling you the election was stolen, trying you to make you watch 2,000 Mules is insane, and you should ignore them immediately. Now, I'm talking about two folks that I followed for a little bit because they're just terrible people, Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman. They were convicted in a right-wing election robocall hoax, and they're going to jail. Yep, felony charges. They are now felons. You see, folks, you can certainly advocate your position on political stances and, say some people should vote for other people. Absolutely. You should absolutely be able to do that. What you can't do is lie to people and tell them, like, oh, hey, Democrats vote Monday, Republicans vote Wednesday, or if you mail in, or in this case, it's a robocall saying, if you use a mail-in voting application, that personal data will be given to police, debt collectors, and a CDC mandatory vaccination program, which does not exist. And they were linked back to those calls. They probably made about 8,000 calls in Cleveland and East Cleveland, which was answered by 3,500 people. And then they made 85,000 overall robocalls to Ohio, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. Now, Jacob Wohl has been banned from Twitter. For now, he might come back now that Elon Musk is in charge. Well known for saying that he would always say that he heard people whispering at the back of coffee shops, liberal coffee shops, that so-and-so was now voting for Trump and that people were abandoning Biden. Always hearing rumors that liberals were secretly supporting conservative positions in the back of coffee shops. Him and Berkman, a lawyer, tried to put out fake videos involving sexual assault to ensnare Anthony Fauci, Pete Buttigieg, as well as, who else? Who else did he... Robert Mueller. Yes, Robert Mueller. Said that he often, usually would trick people to come in one situation. Jacob had this girl come in for a date, took some pictures, blurred their face, and then said, and said that, this person is going to give testimony, and then she ran away. They tried to lure someone into a hotel room to make a fake confession about Robert Mueller, of which all was taped by this guy because he didn't trust these two. And these two are basically just frauds. They're just big old frauds. And Jacob Wohl is well known for being a fraud because he is currently being charged with security frauds for the last half a decade. I don't know why it's not resolved yet, but he's supposed to be this investment whiz kid. Turns out, big fraud. Big old fraud, and now he's a big old felon. And now they're both going to jail. Both going to jail. And allegedly, they may be investigated by by the FBI as well. So that should be interesting. So couldn't happen to two better people. Off to jail. And, yep, I guess we'll have to wait to see if he comes back on Twitter to tell us what rumors he was hearing in the prison coffee shop. I'm willing to bet they're probably not going to be true. My friends, what should be illegal but thankfully is not is the high-quality show that my friend Rox puts out every week. I mean, it is 100% amazing. It's called The Rock Sessions. It's our drive time show we have here on AWSM Radio. And she makes sure your evening commute home is fun, featuring the hottest music on the charts and some other surprises in between. She will make it rock style, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm going to throw Friday in there for free, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. only here on AWSM Radio. Next up, folks, we go to Arizona, where tourists had to spend a night 200 feet underground overnight because the elevator malfunctioned and they were left underground, 200 feet underground. The malfunction was discovered on Sunday evening, and some of the tourists were able to get out using stairs, which were described as so like one of those external fire escapes you'd see in old buildings. But some of them could not use those stairs and had to wait to be hoisted out by rescuers the following day. But they were fine overnight. They were able to hang out in the caverns, had access to a hotel suite and food. And then the next day, 3 people were hoisted out by a search and rescue team after a team was trying to fix the elevator and could not. Apparently, this is the Grand Canyon Caverns. It's located outside of Kingman, Arizona. Offers tours, lodging, and dining 21 stories underground. So it's caverns underneath the ground, 200 feet, and they have kind of a little hotel there, food there, you can eat and explore the caverns. But it takes an elevator to get down there. When that elevator doesn't work, you gotta take the stairs, and, some folks can't do 200 feet worth of stairs. I don't think I could do 200 feet of stairs. That's 21 stories. Could you walk up 21 stories of stairs? I don't think I could. I think I have a hard enough time with 8 or 10, and I would have to take a break. But fortunately, and it's not like stairs inside enclosed building. This is like a fire escape on the side of a mountain. So, no thank you. But anyways, these folks were rescued. So just be sure if you go down the cavern in an elevator, it might break. So make sure those elevator inspection reports are up to date. Moving along to some sad news this week, beloved actor Leslie Jordan passed away at the age of 67 in a car accident after reportedly suffering a medical emergency. After his passing, he was only 67 years old. Millions of people went onto Twitter and Instagram to share videos of him. He became very prolific on Twitter during the pandemic, on TikTok during the pandemic, with lots of very, very funny videos. Him listening to the song WAP for the first time, hilarious. Dolly Parton released a statement, heartbreaking tribute to Jordan, saying, "Well, I am as hurt and shocked as I have lost a family member. Leslie and I had a special bond. I think the world felt they had a special bond with him. I know people will say, oh, they will be missed, but in this case, that could not be more true. He will be missed by everyone who knew him personally and everyone who was entertained by him. Rest in peace, little brother." He's best known for memorable roles on Will and Grace, American Horror Story, and the currently airing Call Me Kat. In another statement, Jordan's co-star on Will and Grace, Sean Hayes, said his heart was broken as he paid tribute on Instagram. He continued, "Leslie Jordan was one of the funniest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Everyone who met him loved him. There will be never anyone like him, a unique talent with an enormous caring heart. Leslie, you will be missed, my dear friend." Aaron McCormack, also Willow Grace star, said, "Crushed to learn the loss of Leslie Jordan, the funniest and flirtiest Southern gent I have ever known. The joy and laughter he brought to everyone on his Will and Grace episodes was palpable. Gone about 30 years too soon. You were loved, sweet man." He was also in the movie The Help, as well. And Viola Davis said, "Oh no, Leslie, I have nothing but the fondest memories of you while filming The Help. I'd never been in the presence of anyone who loved life and people as much as you. Your heart was as big as your humor. You lived, you took up space, you were present. Rest well." Michelle Pfeiffer said, "Just heard the devastating news about beloved Leslie Jordan's passing. Leslie was such a light for so many, generously gifted the world with his love and humor, especially during the lockdown, one of the bleakest and loneliest of times." Sharon Stone said, there will never be another one of you." Rapper Cardi B, who did the song with Mega 3 Stallions, also tributed him on saying "I love you" on Twitter. Sharon Stone posted a selfie Jordan had previously shared and said, there will never be another one of you. And he was really, really, really well loved. Even Linda Carter put out an appreciation post about him. But unfortunately, passed away this week at age 67 in a car crash after having a medical emergency. Look him up online. He was an immensely friendly, immensely talented person, and definitely deserves a few views of his great previous work. Moving along to the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has a new Prime Minister, the third one this year. Rishi Sunak became the third Prime Minister this year after the collapse of Prime Minister Truss's government. Earlier this week, there was going to be a leadership contest in the Conservative Party with him, another leader called Penny Mormack, who came in third in the last election, Conservative election, was running, but pulled out minutes before the announcement of if anyone qualified for the election. Boris Johnson threw his name in there. He said he had 100 people supporting him, but chose not to do it at this time. We shall see. And since no one else ran, he automatically became the next leader of the Conservative Party. The first person of South Asian descent to become the Prime Minister of Great Britain. A big first for the politics in the United Kingdom. Pretty impressive. With that said, people are calling for a general election immediately because, they've gone through, this is the third Prime Minister since the last general election. However, the argument is being made that in the United Kingdom, you don't vote for a Prime Minister, you vote for your representative who run on a manifesto, and then the representatives then put forth and they pick a Prime Minister, and then they implement that manifesto. So their thought is that they're still going on the 2019 manifesto, which was how they won the election. Therefore, they don't need another general election. With that said, lots of polling do say that the entire British public do want a general election. And my friends, what you want probably on Wednesdays is a place to go to for all of your sports needs. And guess what? We have it here at AWSM Radio. First up at 9 p.m., it's To the Rack with Mac. It is your go-to place for all things basketball. Join NBA expert Mac Daddy as he brings you a full hour of high-flying hoops expertise for all things basketball. Join To the Rack with Mac Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., it's What's Going On. It is our Fort Spots, our Fox Sports affiliate show, providing listeners with over 150 combined years of sports knowledge. Hosted by Nate Brown and his crew, they have been a staple of Western New York sports for the past 2 decades, and now they are moving national Wednesdays at 10 p.m. So, to review, To the Rack with Mac, Wednesdays at 9 p.m., and What's Going On, Wednesdays at 10 p.m., only here on AWSM Radio. And my friends, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Thank you for joining me here today. Remember, you can find me on the Twitter, on the Counter Social, on the Instagram, and on the Facebook at Colt S. Taylor. The podcast version of the show is at anchor.fm/Colt S. Taylor. Also on twitch.tv/Colt S. Taylor, where occasionally I will record myself recording this show for your entertainment and whatnot. And of course, ColtSebastianTaylor.com for all your Colt Sebastian Taylor needs. All right, my friends, until next time, I am, of course, your friend, the one, the only, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.